Of course, if I say the word gamer right now, think of a picture. Close your eyes. Think of a picture of what you think of. They don't look like Carrie.
Wait, he's using it as an insult. So in this case, we're going to save the brat chair for the second video, because I think it's going to be a little bit more fun. We're going to go springtime vibes, a little bit more casual here. This is with Axios. If you don't know what Axios is a kind of a news publication that I actually really, really like. I don't necessarily know where their overall biases are, but I like the way that they struck. This is the funniest headline, by the way. Amazon's Twitch CEO says he avoids the word gamer as though it's a slur. It's just the funniest title I've ever read to come out of Axios. But I like Axios because the way that they break down the news is they say, here's the headline, here's why it matters, here's a quote, here's the bigger picture overall, and then they give a little bit of a takeaway. So it's very consumable news in that regard. Side note, speaking of, do you guys remember when a little bit of Twitch lore? Do you remember Twitch's first time that they had a problem with the word gamer? Do you guys remember? Does anybody remember? It actually came in this month. 4 years ago? Yes, Kim. That's right. The LGBT also stands for gamer. Gays were erased for that day. It just meant, okay, you can be lesbian, a gamer, bi, or trans. That's it. Sorry, gays, you're on the way out in June. When the G in LGBTQIA plus also stands for gamer. Yeah.
Time flies. South by Southwest London. We were just there. We were talking, and you told me that Twitch is experiential marketing. Explain. What does that mean?
I really thought that the comment by Raj at the beginning was extremely apropos to what Twitch does. Fundamentally, what Twitch is about experiencing something that you watch with a community that you build.
Oh, community. One check off the box. Heck yeah.
Build a connection to. And I think more and more, one thing that I often say is today, social media actually is antisocial.
Anti-social media. All right, we're off to a good start.
And a big part that really, I think, has worked well for Twitch is sort of this magic that I think...
Oh, wait, magic. That's a good start. I
think everyone is looking for that connection with other people. And I think fundamentally, when you start thinking of marketing, it's about transference of emotional affinity. And I think that happens extremely...
I got to write that one down. Transference of emotional affinity, because he said that one multiple times now. I've heard him say that in 3 different interviews recently, and the first 2 times I think were in the same day, so I wasn't sure if it was actually something they were going to hammer on, but now they definitely are.
Well on Twitch because they have that emotional affinity because of the connection of the people that they are experiencing this with.
I love how you're thinking about community. That is definitely the word of the week with a lot of the social platforms. Another thing that I think of Twitch, my mind goes straight to gaming. But when we spoke, you told me that you're trying not to use the word gamer anymore and trying to not have your ad sellers use that. Why?
Of course, if I say the word gamer right now, think of a picture. Close your eyes. Think of a picture of what you think of. They don't look like Carrie.
Wait, he's using it as an insult. That's wild.
The way I do it, and of course, if I say the word gamer right now, think of a picture. Close your eyes. Think of a picture of what you think of. They don't look like Carrie. Okay? They actually don't look like me, even. But they don't look like...
Wait, what does that mean? They don't look like him. Is he saying he's some kind of pretty face?
People in this room. And that is because we have this memory back from 2001. Okay, and I now use the term people who game, and I think it's kind of strange that we call them gamers, and I think it happened when it was a small population. When I grew up, I played a lot of pickup basketball. Nobody called me a pickup basketballer. Okay.
These are not meant for us to see. These are not meant for you and I to be seeing as content creators. I mean, maybe that's meant for me to be seen, but generally speaking, these are not meant for the average person on Twitch to be seeing any of this. I'm calling a pickup basketballer the next time I see him. Please do. Yes, he was a sportster. That's right.
Okay, as the kind of this definitional of who I was. They like to game. They also put on makeup. They also, they also eat food. They also like to listen to music. And fundamentally, they are, younger members of the generation. And so I use the term people who game because I think that term gamer gives you the wrong image of who these people are.
Okay, so he's trying to rope it back to be like, yeah, so when you think of gamer, you think of a ghoul person sitting in their basement you think of Asmongold. But we don't want you to think of Asmongold as your first thing when you think of people who are streaming on Twitch. I completely agree with the premise here that they do need to kind of consider how to talk to marketers in terms of selling what Twitch is to marketers to say, hey, it's not just a platform for gaming. That is the dominant content here, but we do have a lot of additional content. Like, I think they should just really lean on the idea of a streaming creator. Don't go for make a point to say, oh yeah, they're people who game. I really think they should focus on the idea of streamers. The word streamer or streaming creator. I think that has a lot more potential to actually be like a universal term that we can all accept. Because I guess we're all people who game, but that just sounds like you're trying to unnecessarily complicate what it is. It's like, oh yeah, you are a person who, you would never say, you're Dan Clancy CEO, person who plays basketball in the past. Person who has, who shoots hoops. It's just kind of a weird description. And I don't like that he's doing it. I think the intent is right. I think the execution is silly and kind of cringe. Even if we just went with the YouTube label of creator, streaming creator, live streamer. There's so many better words overall that you can use that, again, are going to require the same level of communication and discussion with these media entities to say and to convince them of the fact that it's not just gaming on Twitch, but it doesn't have to be so cringy, for lack of a better description here. I think the importance of actually conveying that to advertisers is important, and quite frankly, not even just advertisers, conveying that to people who are on TikTok and YouTube and on Instagram, individuals who currently consume content on those platforms should absolutely be coming to Twitch because there's a variety of content that they would probably enjoy here. And so I don't even think that message is wrong for just advertisers. I think it's a good message to share for all audiences to encourage them to check out Twitch.
I love what you're saying. It's people are multifaceted, right? They're not one. I'm not just a gamer. I'm someone who games. And one thing that's interesting too about you is that I understand before you joined the company, you didn't really use Twitch. You were not a person who games.
Right.
You see how uncomfortable that is? Do you see how you were not a person who games? We can't make the word gamer into a slur. We should not be approaching it like that. You can't say gamer. Being says Clancy. We can, we should.
Just a gamer. I'm someone who games. And one thing that's interesting too about you is that I understand before you joined the company, you didn't really use Twitch. You were not a person who games.
Right.
So
it's just oh God.
But
I'm not a gamer either.
So I got a two-part question. Why did you then want to join Twitch? And then how is Twitch becoming something that isn't just for people who game?
Hi, Silly V. How are you doing? Is this Crackergate too? Oh, man. Oh, God. It's so funny how the most random things. It's like this on paper is not as funny as it actually is. It's maybe not as funny as I'm finding it. But goddamn. Sometimes streaming is just, it just gives me a good laugh. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click like and subscribe to my newsletter at tos.gg or come watch me live at tos.gg/live.